Hey everyone, welcome back to Let's Play Dual Destinies, case number 2, trial number 1. Last we left off, I believe we were on the second testimony of Bobby Fulbright, and we are about to cross-examine him again. I forgot the details of it, but it's okay, I'll probably remember it when we look at it. What's up, Bobby? Alright, what are we talking about? Okay, that was about the municipal merger. Something to do with... I think this was the one where we had to talk about the feathers. Yes, it is that one. So let's press the last statement. Hold it! But it doesn't add up. If what you say is true, why top it off with murder? What do you mean? You claim that our client planted the yokai evidence to stoke the villagers' fears. If so, then why not stop there? Why murder Alderman Cuby? Excellent point. It is, isn't it? It is, isn't it? So, Your Honor agrees there was no reason for the murder, correct?
Objection!
Objection. Perhaps the killing was spur of the moment. You're saying it wasn't premeditated? From the outset, I had no intention of paying heed of any of your babbles. However, the fact is, the mayor made a startling discovery. A startling discovery? Why don't I like the sound of that? Alderman Cuby's secret identity.
Apollo. I think Prosecutor Blackquills figured out the Alderman's secret identity. But even if he has, why would it be a motive for the mayor to commit murder?
This is not good. This patch of fur was discovered at this crime scene. It's from the mask worn from the amazing Ninetales. Therefore, we can conclude that this mask was at the crime scene. Oh my, but why would it have been there? The victim was a former pro wrestler and a member of the anti-merger movement. Need I say more? Well, could it really be? Your baldness has an epiphany, I see. Move on. Our victim, Cuby, was the amazing Ninetales, and the mayor's discovery of such was his motive for murder. No! That's the longest Niagara Falls sound ever. Order! Order! What a shocking development! A motive clearer than crystal clear!
What do we do now, Apollo?
I didn't think they'd tie the Alderman's secret identity to the mayor's motive for murder. At last, we've reached my real point. Why did the Alderman have to forge a secret identity? Does it not pique your interest, your baldness? I admit it does. It is odd that he had to create this other persona, just to secretly participate in the anti-merger movement. Very astute of you, your baldness. Right! Now take a look at this! If you value your dearest life, you will merge Ninetales Vale with Denma Town. This blackmail letter was found in Alderman Cuby's pocket. What? At present, the Alderman's wife is in the hospital, and that letter is clear evidence the mayor was blackmailing him by threatening her life.
Wait, didn't the blackmail letter sent to Mayor Temma go missing? Right after the Alderman's murder?
You think maybe the killer took the letter from Mayor after the murder and planted it into the Alderman's pocket? It's possible.
Oh, it's possible, but we don't have any proof that that's what happened.
Talk about being up a creek without a paddle. That's great. Mayor Temma would have made a clear getaway if he just left after planting the yokai things. but he was knocked out cold by his sudden decision to kill the amazing Ninetails. So it was the amazing Ninetails' counterattack that brought the entire crime to light. Wait a sec. Fulbright's claiming that the mayor killed the alderman after planting the yokai evidence, and that the mayor was knocked out cold immediately after that. Detective Fulbright, please add your previous statement to your testimony. Mayor Tenma killed the sleeping alderman after planting the feathers in tracks. That's not true, because the photo says otherwise.
Objection!
Detective Fulbright, your sense of justice is anything but fair. What's this? You dare question my justice again? Yes, and I'm going to prove it to you. Take a look at this photo. This is the crime scene photo. And just what does this prove? It proves when the feathers and tracks were planted. But I already told you, they were planted before the murder. The defendant planted the yokai evidence and was knocked out while killing his victim. But that would be impossible. If you look right here, it's clear when the feathers and tracks were left at the scene. Just hover over the feathers on his blood. Aren't you just pointing to the yokai feathers and tracks, Mr. Justice? Yes, see how the feathers are on top of the blood, and the tracks are made in blood. In other words, the yokai evidence could have only resulted after the murder. Then the mayor must have planted the evidence after killing the alderman. But you said it yourself. The mayor had been knocked unconscious thereafter. There would have been no time for him to plant any evidence at all. Therefore, there must be someone else besides the mayor and the alderman at the crime scene. Ah! There must be some mistake. Order! Order! Where's your evidence? You can't possibly have any, can you? Ha 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 ha! Fulbright, please. Evidence? Oh, I have evidence. In fact, I have an eyewitness's testimony for you. You do? But how? Was my vaunted sense of justice really just half-baked? He's taking this really hard. Mr. Justice, what is this testimony regarding a third party that you claim to have? I have it right here, Your Honor. It's the sworn testimony of Mr. Tenma's daughter. The witness, Jinsei Tenma, saw a yokai in the hallway after stumbling upon the scene. It was the demon Tenma Taro. He is the source of those feathers and tracks! Couldn't you just say a guy in a costume? Because, Will somebody please say something? The defense will explain to the court exactly what he means. You dare mock this court and justice itself? You are unfit to bear your name, boy! Your baldness. It appears our defense attorney here is delirious from exhaustion.
Hold it! Apollo, think of something quick before we're held in contempt of court.
What do you think I'm trying to do? Before you decide whether I should step down, please, hear me out. Very well, Mr. Justice. I'm all ears, but you had better explain yourself well. What was this yokai you were talking about? It's all in this statement here. Jinsei Tenma asserts that she saw Tenma Taro after she discovered the crime scene and called the police. She came around a corner in the hall. It was around here. That she saw Tenma Taro fleeing toward the foyer. The defense asserts that whoever was impersonating this monster is the one who left those feathers and tracks behind, intentionally or otherwise. What? How incredibly unjust! Why haven't I heard about this before? The defense just proved that there was someone else.
So the mayor isn't the killer.
Was it all a setup? The prosecutor is a convicted felon, after all.
Apollo, the momentum has shifted in our favor.
Good, now let's keep it that way.
Objection!
Nope! Little do you realize that though you are in the midst of a fray, your sword is broken. My sword? I didn't know I had one to break. Are you implying there's a problem with my claim? Consider this. If that yokai impersonator had indeed fled toward the foyer, that fool and that fop would have seen him. Fool and fop? Oh, you mean Filch and LaBelle. Now that you mention it. I think Emma rubbed off on Blackquill. Both Phineas Filch and Florent LaBelle were in the foyer at the time, but they haven't stated that they saw a yokai, have they? Did you ever consider that yokai was but a figment of a scared little girl's imagination? Why didn't those two see the Tenma Taro impersonator pass by?
Why don't we ask them ourselves?
I was just about to say that myself. No, really, I was. The defense would like to call Phineas Filch, caretaker of QB Manor, to the stand. I just know he must have seen something. I suppose we can't ignore the fact that the little girl believes she saw a monster. I trust you have no objections to Mr. Justice's requests, Prosecutor Blackquill. I understand that Filch is enjoying a nap out in the lobby. I knew that Tanuki was a rare find, but when he captured him, I didn't think he'd end up a witness. Do with him as you will. Did he just say captured? No, wait, I don't want to know. Very well, then. Bailiff, please go wake Mr. Filch and escort him to the witness stand.
Filchy, Filchy, Filch.
Will the witness state his name and occupation, please?
The name's Phineas Filch. Phineas Filch, caretaker of the QB Manor. Oh, and this is for you, your lordship. Just a little something I thought you might like.
Oh, my, what a fabulous pair of shoes. And your honor will do just fine, Mr. Filch. It's those shoes again.
Don't they belong to Detective Fulbright?
Don't tell me Filch stole them again.
They're all yours, your honorship, sir.
What? But they seem awfully expensive.
Yep, too expensive for me, but I reckon they'd be perfect for someone like your honorship.
It's a kind gesture, but legal ethics dictate that I cannot accept such gifts.
Ethics schmethics. Just take them if you want. Polish them up real nice for you, too.
Filch. I'm sorry about the shoes, Mr. Filch, but I will accept your testimony. The court would like to hear whether you saw Tenma Taro in the foyer after the murder. Yes. No. I really should stop spoiling this.
At the time of the murder, I was on guard duty in the foyer, just like Mr. Cubase asked. I was making sure no one, fair, foul, fishy, or otherwise, could get to our guest. I was still in my office keeping a good watch when the murder happened after 3 p.m. But I didn't see nothing out of the ordinary, no siree.
That yokai you keep jabbering about was but the phantom of a little girl's dreams. So, you're telling this court you never saw anyone dressed up like Tenma Taro?
Yep, was gone the whole time. That's the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. And Tenma Taro? Bah, you don't really believe in all that yokai mumble-jumble, do you? I certainly don't.
My bracelet. It's...
Something the matter, Apollo?
My bracelet keeps squeezing my arm.
Really? So you think Mr. Tanuki, Filch has been lying to us?
I wouldn't rule it out. Now, if I could just zero in on a tell,
some sort of nervous habit. Ah! What in the... What's the hawk doing in here? Allow me to introduce my trusty cohort, Taka. He seems to have taken quite a liking to the courthouse. Made its new home, in fact. He doesn't live with you, you know. He doesn't live with you, you know, in jail? Whoever's heard of a courthouse bird? Taka simply loathes trickery and fraud. And that queer power of yours seems to have offended my dear bosom buzzard. This isn't some sort of trick or... Ah! I won't be able to spot squat like this. What the heck's going on around here? Run for the hills!
No pets or other animals allowed in the courtroom.
Taka, please!
Ah! Somebody help!
Oh, he's merely having a bit of a sport. He won't harm you, save when truly famished.
In that case, Prosecutor Blackquill, you will ensure your feathered friend is properly fed.
Looks like we have to do this the old-fashioned way. We'll be fine, I think. If there was someone dressed as Temotaro there, Filch should have seen him. We'll just have to put our faith in Jinxie's statement for now.
Mr. Justice, please proceed with your cross-examination.
Okay, we're presently at the statement where he was still in his office keeping a good watch at around 3 p.m. Because we kind of swiped a TV listing that says something was going on around that time. So let's present that as soon as I can figure out where it is. There it is. The TV listing.
Objection!
He was watching Twilight. Don't lie to the court like that, Mr. Filch. Hey, it ain't right to bushwhack a fella like that. What was that hate I just did at the beginning? Oops. Unfortunately for you, I have evidence that proves you're lying. If you look at this TV listing here, you'll see that at the time of the crime, there was a pro wrestling match scheduled. Something you'd never miss. Ah! I didn't watch that one. No siree. I was doing my job just like I was supposed to do. This guy doesn't know when to give up. Mr. Filch, someone even circled the match. It was you, right? Yipes! Not only that, you even told me to watch it. You even told me you watched it. You said, and I quote, "It was a complete disaster." So, do you admit it's to slacking off? You can't trick me with your ruddy poo lawyer talk. I'm one of them professional types too. I could double duty watching TV and the foyer at the same time. The only thing Filch can claim to be a professional of is professional thief.
Mr. Justice, you would have this court believe the witness was slacking off.
That's correct. He claims to have been watching TV in the foyer at the same time. But that's nothing but a bald-faced lie.
Bald, you say, but I'm not the one who's lying. Perhaps you meant the witness, Mr. Justice. And in that case, let's see what evidence you can offer. You claim Mr. Filch is lying about watching TV in the foyer simultaneously. Now prove it.
Well, sure can. Let's look at the foyer diagram. Please take a look at the direction the TV is facing in this diagram. Now, unless Mr. Filch has eyes where his right ear should be, I think it would be impossible to watch the foyer entrance and the TV at the same time.
Why, yes! Someone watching TV there couldn't possibly see the entrance.
Exactly. And that means, Mr. Filch, you are slacking off and we're not watching the foyer as you claim. Yipes! Bag's out of the cat. Other way around.
Order! 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 Mr. Justice, is Mr. Filch Leston's stellar work ethic relevant to this case?
It's very relevant because while he was slacking off watching TV,
There really could have been a Tenmataro impersonator in the foyer.
Objection!
What now? Granted, this Tanuki was lax in his duties, but he still had the foyer entrance covered. What are you talking about? This. I'm not a mind reader. Ah! Auditory sense. His eyes may have been slacking off, but his ears were still hard at work. Right, Tanuki? They were? I mean, yes, they were. But you already admitted to slacking off. Now you say you weren't? My eyes might be lazy, but my ears ain't. I would have heard anything in the foyer. You see, the foyer floor and stairway get all creaky squeaky when someone walks on them. Creak, creak, creak. Loud enough to wake the dead, I reckon. So, you're saying you didn't hear anybody walk by? Yep, my ears were working full time, so who's the liar now, you no good shyster? A lying thief calling me a shyster. This has to be a low point of my fledgling career. Gotta hand it to you, Mr. Blackquills, sir. You really are something else. I mean, you don't miss a thing. And them bags under your eyes, they're darker than mine. Fair warning, Mr. Filch. Taka is particularly fond of Tanuki. Should you lie to this court again, you may suddenly find yourself on the menu. Yipes! Please don't eat me, Mr. Taka, sir. The witness will henceforth testify truthfully under penalty of painful bird attacks. And with that in mind, the court requests that the witness revise his testimony accordingly. It's true. I was I was watching a pro wrestling match on the office TV. My eyes might have been slacking off, but my ears, they were working overtime. The floor there's all creaky squeaky like. No way I would have missed someone walking by. So you see, there were no Tenmataro in the foyer. Uh-huh. Superstition is the religion of feeble minds. Understand? A simple, rational explanation is best. Forget yokai, demons, and such. We must use common sense, for lacking that, our entire world would be but upside down. Says the convict prosecutor who is totally a sign of the end of times for the legal world. And besides, if there were any yokai roaming about, I'd nab them and sell them to the zoo. I wonder whether Jinxie was just seeing things. That seems to be the general consensus, but I'm sticking to my guns. But if we can't prove she saw Tenmataro, the mayor should be convicted. Then we better hope my guns fire bullets, not BBs. Apollo. The defense may cross-examine the witness. Sure thing. We are pressing on the statement about the floor being all squeaky creaky like. Squeaky creaky.
Hold it!
So you have pretty good ears, Mr. Filch. As good as they come, they say. Ain't nothing to hear a squeaky floor. Plus, that Tenmataro makes a sound when he goes by. It's like a jingle jangle. Jingle jangle? How does he do that? It's that staff of his. That's what jingle jangles. What's he talking about, Apollo? Beats me, but I guess Tenmataro has a staff that makes noise. Come to think of it, didn't Jinxie mention something like that too? She said she saw Tenmataro holding a staff-like object that made a jangly sound. I guess that's the source of the noise then. Well, Mr. Justice, Mr. Filch says Tenmataro jingle jangles. Would you consider that vital information? Oh, yes. Extremely vital. I request that it be added to his testimony. Okay, this is where we present the yokai legend. Here we go.
Objection!
Tenmataro's staff would make a jangly sound, you say? Well, I'm gonna say that your story doesn't add up. Is there something the defense would like to share with the court? Mr. Filch, you say that you didn't see Tenmataro on the day of the incident. Why then, Why then? Why is why twice? Why then? Why did you assume just now that Tenmataro would be holding a staff? Huh? You see, the Tenmataro Jinxie held a staff in his hand, and she described it sounds just like you did, as a kind of jangly sound. Yeah, he was holding a staff. What's your point?
Objection!
The point is that Tenmataro doesn't use a staff, not normally. What are you talking about? You see, this is the only known document depicting Tenmataro. Is there a staff in that picture, Mr. Filch? You're right, there's no staff. Not even a cane or a walking stick. Ah! So the question is, why does the witness think Tenmataro uses a staff? I believe the answer will overturn the prosecution's case on the most basic level. Well now, this is getting interesting. Alright, Mr. Justice, it's time to show the court where you're going with this. Please tell the court why Mr. Filch believes Tenmataro carries the staff. He actually... Should I pick one? Yeah, why not? Let's do it. Mr. Filch obviously has a few screws loose, so it's no surprise he would make a mistake like that. Now hold it right there. As caretaker of Cuban Manor, I'll keep every screw nice and tight. I rest my case. With an assertion like that, this court wonders whether the defense has a screw loose too. Here's a penalty to make sure you keep your screws in tighter next time. Filch believes Tenmataro has a staff, despite the fact that Tenmataro has never been drawn that way. So how could he possibly know about the staff? Let's try that again, Mr. Justice. Please tell the court why Mr. Filch believes Tenmataro carries a staff. He actually saw him, duh. Mr. Filch actually saw Tenmataro right after the crime occurred. That's the only way he could possibly know about the staff. Busted again! Bloody hell, you duplicitous little... Yes, how'd that feel, Blackquill? Not so fun when you're on the receiving end of the blade, is it? Admit it, Mr. Filch. You did see Tenmataro that day, didn't you? Well? I'm begging you, please don't make me say it. But clearly you did see Tenmataro. Stop stalling and testify to the fact! No can do. No way, no how. You ain't got no idea how terrifying he can be. He? Mr. Filch still won't admit seeing Tenmataro, even though everyone already knows he did. The question now is, why? Mr. Filch is scared to death! Is that why he can't admit the truth? Come to think of it. They say you must not gaze upon Tenmataro, but in the event that you do look, and then tell anyone that you saw Tenmataro, what you saw, Tenmataro will claim your soul. Jinxie wouldn't admit to seeing Tenmataro after hearing about the village superstitions. She said that if she told anyone that she had seen Tenmataro, he claimed your soul. Wait, you don't think Filch believes that too? So Mr. Big-Time City Slicker Lawyer has heard about him. Them old village superstitions? Will the defense please explain what the witness is talking about? The people of Ninetails Vale believe some pretty strange things, and their superstitions may be the reason our witness here can't admit the truth. The truth that he really did see Tenmataro. Darn straight, that's why. It's all right here. Ignoring the superstitions will cost you your soul? See? That's why us folks in Ninetails Vale can't talk about seeing Tenmataro. That clears up one mystery. The killer took advantage of the superstitions by wearing a Tenmataro costume. They knew that way no one could talk about him, so it was as if he never existed. The defense holds that this Tenmataro impersonator is the true killer. What? Robber.
Objection!
Superstitions, you say? What kind of a fool would actually believe such rubbish? And would that using some silly fairy tale so easily expose the culprit? That was a weird sentence. You'll need to come up with a more rational, common-sense explanation than that.
Objection!
Your common sense seems awfully narrow-minded to me, Prosecutor Blackquill.
Objection!
Try living in my world of narrow cells, mortal danger, and dark, sleepless nights. There is no lack of superstitions in the clink, but few are those who truly believe in them.
Objection!
Well, the village superstitions are real enough to the people of Ninetails Vale. A life or death superstition might make you even a believer. Make even you a believer. Ah! Take that. Order! Order, I say! You fool of a Tanuki! 2 times now your lies have cost me! Sorry, I promise not to do it again! Taka, my fine feathered friend, have at him. Yipes! He's gonna eat me alive! Head for the hills! Welp! Ah! He took off. Bailiff, what are you waiting for? After him, and with your fastest men! And we are going to stop here, because we are now at 30-minute mark again. So I will see you guys in the next part of this video, where I think we're bringing in Jinxie? Yeah, something like that. See you then! The amazing Ninetails. Therefore, we can conclude that this mask was at the crime scene. Oh my, but why would it have been there? The victim was a former pro wrestler and a member of the anti-merger movement. Need I say more? Well, could it really be? Your baldness has an epiphany, I see. Move on. Our victim, Rescue, was the amazing Ninetails, and the mayor's discovery of such was his motive for murder. No! Perhaps the killing was spur of the moment. You're saying it wasn't premeditated? From the outset, I had no intention of paying heed of any of your babbles. However, the fact is, the mayor made a startling discovery. A startling discovery? Why don't I like the sound of that? Alderman QB's secret identity.
Apollo, I think Prosecutor Blackquill has figured out the Alderman's secret identity. But even if he has, why would it be a motive for the mayor to commit murder?
This is not good. This patch of fur was discovered at this crime scene. It's from the mask worn from the— I guess this was the one where we had to talk about the feathers? Yes, it is that one. So let's press the last statement.
Hold it!
But it doesn't add up. If what you say is true, why top it off with murder? What do you mean? You claim that our client planted the yokai evidence to stoke the villagers' fears. If so, then why not stop there? Why murder Alderman QB? Excellent point. It is, isn't it? It is, isn't it? So, Your Honor agrees there was no reason for the murder, correct?
Objection!
Objection. Oh! That's the longest Niagara Falls sound ever. Order! Order! What a shocking development! A motive clearer than crystal clear!
What do we do now, Apollo?
I didn't think they'd tie the Alderman's secret identity to the mayor's motive for murder. At last, we've reached my real point. Why did the Alderman have to forge a secret identity? Does it not pique your interest, your baldness? I admit it does. It is odd that he had to create this other persona. Just to secretly participate in this.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Let's Play Dual Destinies, case number 2, trial number 1. Last we left off, I believe we were on the second testimony of Bobby Fulbright, and we are about to cross-examine him again. I forgot the details of it, but it's okay, I'll probably remember it when we look at it. What's up, Bobby? Alright, what are we talking about? Okay, that was about the municipal merger. Something to do with...